This is Vinyl Voices Radio. ESPN 97.5.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm John Denman.
Dusty Sandehan.
All right, Vinyl Voices, we are back on and hanging out here with Brightwire. What song are we going to hear this time?
Okay, we're going to hear Ship's Wheel Saturday Night. Are we going to go
Saturday
right
night.
to it, or
Let's go right to it this time.
we're going to go right to it this time? Cool. Look at that.
Let's make the producer happy.
Daybreak comes with a sin from last night. Scenes we regret exposed in the morning light.
Ashtray, broken mascara, and with tears. It's the same old hangover we've been fighting for years.
Slow it down and spin slow. Lonely lovers don't know when to let go. There's one thing I know. It's the more you make, the more you blow. Parked my car around the tree outside. It's nights like these you feel lucky to get home alive.
For every step forward, you know they knock me down twice. You can have the fucking pie, man. All I want is a slice.
Slow it down and spin slow. The lonely lovers don't know when to let go. There's one thing I know. It's the more you make, the more you blow. Sometimes it helps to get high.
Kiss your baby's lips, rub her thigh.
Meet me down at the wheel tonight. Blowing all the money, drinking on a Saturday night. Slow it down and spin slow. Lonely lovers don't know when to let go. There's one thing I know. It's the more you make, the more you blow.
And we are back.
I thought we were going to be so PG.
I'm sure they do.
Seems so sweet. Cute little old lady. Oh, I'm wearing my Mojo Nixon shirt. That's why.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, man, I'm just over here drinking some Kevin's Bomb.
Yeah. Although I feel like all of that was just discussed, where no audience person could hear it, actually really is kind of, it's in line with the song.
Oh, I thought we
Oh, no,
endeared
no, it
ourselves
is.
to you, maybe.
What's that?
Did we endear ourselves to you with those stories?
We would love y'all to start
good.
I
with.
mean, there's something. The good thing about this show is that I learn something new every single show.
Yeah.
At least one thing. And this particular one, I'm going to go put in my notes about soaking.
Yeah,
There you go.
That's in the morning.
You're going to learn more than one thing this show.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Ship's Wheel Saturday Night. That's all you just heard, friend. I wrote this song with my older brother Daniel, who unfortunately drank himself to death in his mid-40s. I win. I'm older than he was, so as a younger brother, that's important to get all those victories you can against your older sibling. But
Yeah, take the victory.
take the win. That's right.
Get the dub however you need to.
We'd like to send a shout out to the Up, Up, and Away, a collaboration with Bedrock City Comic Company and No Label. I was a big comic kid growing up. I was a Marvel guy. I liked Batman. I liked Suicide Squad. I like old school, but, you know, Watchmen was awesome, but Marvel was better. And so anyway, point being of the song.
Yeah, I don't know where
Sorry,
that
babe.
went.
It's a comic book shop.
What does it have?
It has to do with the beer we're drinking. But anyway, so I wrote this song with my older brother, Daniel. We grew up in Crystal Beach, Texas, which if you've ever been across the ferry, Port Ballriver Peninsula, there's a bar down there called the Ship's Wheel. It does exist. So one of the fun things about growing up down there, most of our friends' parents worked for fish houses, or they worked for the boats. They went out and did shrimping, fishing, oystering, things of that nature. And the kind of cycle that everyone's life was in down there was, all right, Monday morning we get up, we go out on the boat. If we do really well, we're home on Thursday. If not, we're home on Friday. If you do really well, you're home on Wednesday. If that was rare. You sell all the shrimp, fish, oysters that you get, and you get a bunch of money. And then you go out and you partied at the time with Ship's Wheel or Sharky's, or there was the North Jetty, and all those kind of places. And then, you know.
There's nothing else to do down there.
Yeah, I mean, but we were a party town. There may have been about 20 years behind, but there was plenty of good biker speed and meth way before we ever had Breaking Bad or anything like that. You know, but for us kids, it was great because our parents were out partying and doing stuff. So we were kind of left to our own devices. So, you know, we loved that thing, man. We could go out. Our big deal was, me and my friend Rusty and all of our other friends especially in the summer months, we would go out and walk around, and all the people who came down to visit the beach would normally be exhausted and go to bed by 9 p.m. So about 9 p.m. we'd take off and we'd go start hitting coolers people left under their houses with Walmart bags, and we'd fill them full of beer, and we'd go back and watch Saturday Night Live. So that was kind of the premise of me and my brother starting this. And my brother was kind of a mess, so we started writing the song about our hometown. Like, what did everyone do? They went to Ship's Wheel, they drank, they partied, they hoped to find someone to
Spend the weekend with.
make sweet love to if they didn't already have somebody.
Soak with.
Soak with.
Soak with.
And if they were lucky, their friends came and shook the bed at the right tempo.
I feel like that was kind of part of the community too, though. The friends were involved.
It's good to know that the kids are doing the same thing as the parents. Parents are doing it in bars.
So no, it was that happened. It was less purposeful back then. People were upset, but then by the time you spend a week on the boat squashing that beef, you're like, okay, it's fine that you bang my old lady. It's not a big deal. So a good punchline is me and my brother finished this song, and then when I hung out with my brother, sometimes I'm not a smoker, but we would drink some beers and hang out. When he was on one of his points where he was like not a hardcore alcoholic, he'd have these like great, beautiful moments where he's just like, he'd have a couple beers and be good. Like, you know, I'm not addicted to beer. I'm addicted to liquor. And I was like, no, that's not how it works. But anyway, so we had a couple cigarettes and I was like, cool, man. Like, oh, my mouth tastes like ass. My ex-wife is going to be upset. So I went to this bathroom and I opened this Altoids tin and I was like, oh man, these Altoids are all crushed up into different pieces. So I grabbed the biggest piece of Altoid I could find to get rid of my nasty breath, and my entire mouth and throat went numb. So I had to do this walk to my brother and go like, hey man, first lesson I learned, don't take things that don't belong to you. Second thing I need to ask is what the hell was in that Altoids tin? So he was like, oh, wow. Yeah, man.
You grabbed the big piece?
That was my girlfriend's like coke she had hidden in this thing. Hold on, just gonna show up on the radio. And yeah, so apparently I had a huge chunk of cocaine. And then we wrote the bridge because it was talking about, you know, sometimes you gotta get high. Kiss your baby's lips and all that. So So that we lived that song that night.
It sounds like the beach was kind of a rough place to live, to grow up.
It does.
Well, it really was, because we had oil workers, shrimp work, fishermen. During the summer, people came in from Houston and things like that. Things got a little weird. But, I mean, mostly, it was kind of a gnarly place to live growing up. I mean, we did stuff. We had baby grocery. You could run in and grab a 12-pack of beer, 12 years old. As long as you threw the $20 on the register when you ran out the door, the guy at the register was like, no, stop. And that was it. Don't pay. And this is like 1995, so it was like 12 was 91. But, you know what I'm saying? But like by the mid-90s, $20 for a 12-pack of beer was a lot of money. So he was like, no, stop. You're doing wrong. And it was like, and we'd run out. We did that a lot. And, that was just how we lived down there, man. It was just kind of a trip.
Yeah. The thing I love about like that whole explanation of this song is, we break down songs on this show. And so when you think about a song like that, it just takes you to such a time and place, you specifically, but then all of us have those songs that we connect with that really just take us back to, we're not songwriters, but we have a song that can take us back there, and to have something like that specifically does that for you.
Oh yeah, the line like "park my car around the tree" wasn't exactly literal, because as my brother actually woke up drunk and drove his car into a bar and actually hit it. So on a tree, it was the corner of a local bar that he wrapped his car around.
You know what comes from a tree.
But again, same thing. Not only he was a local, so the bartender came out and drove him home and waited until the next morning and be like, oh, he had an accident and hit this, and he wasn't drunk at the time. It was just an accident.
It's fun.
It was, small town life. Okay, we're going to take the local drunk home, and we'll just say this, as long as your insurance covers the repairs and these, because I'd be able to cinder block. So it's like, once we replace these 20 cinder blocks that made up the corner,
should be fine.
We're good. We'll just have that fixed and you're good. And it was like, okay, fine. Then on top of all that, we should jump back and say what really makes that song is our friend Liz from the Urban Pioneers coming in doing all the fiddle work.
Yeah.
Liz McGovern, Urban Pioneers, check them out. They're amazing. Liz is killer. Her and her husband Jared are just like, and Martin Sargent, their bass player. Great band.
She was on this track, and she also plays on Tough as Nails.
And she played on Tough as Nails too. She played on like 4 songs on the record, and she's just.
Yeah, why on this song and the other songs? Like, why fiddle on those and not some of the other?
It's funny because it just goes off of what we like. So much of what these songs end up being is I don't know. I'm selfish. But whatever I hear, that's like what I. But when we were even working on Tough as Nails, it's like, okay, I heard banjo and fiddle, but then it was like, well, I don't know. We spent so much money on fiddle. Well, we didn't spend any money at all, but we were kind of broke the time, so it was like, well, the fiddle will do. And then once you hear what Liz does, it's like, I don't want to mess with what Liz did.
Right.
I mean, it's bad enough we got Health, who's a member of the band. It's like, yeah, man, you need to step back. Because this person we paid, like, to do this, it's killed.
It's all right.
And Health's just like, fuck you guys.
How many shows has she made it to?
Or fuck you guys.
You showed to every one of these.
And she is like, come on, man. Like, it's okay. But I feel like even Health I was like, yeah, man,
That works.
Because we just did, our podcast was an interview with Stephen Prigmore, and he was talking about that. Like, you realize Liz is one of, like, the greatest fiddle players in the U.S. Like, as far as them getting together doing, like, head cutting things, like, she's one of the top 2 fiddle players in, like, the U.S. Like, she's just a beast. And it's just like, and we played some shows with him, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll do some mercenary work. If you want me to jump in and do that. So really, and then this one, it was like, it was such a country song. Like, even when I was doing drums, it was like, took everything away except for the kick and snare. I was like, there's nothing else needs to be on this song. I tried to do all this cute stuff, and it was like, no. I was like, basically, what would Gus from Broken Spokes do right now? It was like kick snare. And then Gus will listen to this and go like, I would have done some cool little snare rolls, but I'm not as good as Gus. So it was like just kick snare. I did some ride just to give it like a little bit of openness on the chorus. I mean, on the bridge, but that was it. You know, it was just like, this is a country song. As much as I push back on like rock country, it's like this was a country song.
Yeah. I feel like we definitely have already kind of dipped our toe in segment 4 waters, but we can get back to that in segment 4 because I just want to ask about or mention the podcast because you've been talking about, you know, bands, and I mean, y'all are a band that knows bands. So the podcast is called Music in the Minor League.
Yeah.
And just tell us about it.
So that was
Sam got bored and had an idea, and was like, "Hey, you two, come along with me. Let's do this." And that's what it is. I mean, Sam is just one of those people that like he's super creative, but he's also very much he wants everyone to know all the cool people we know.
Right.
And you know, when you're in someplace like Houston, I mean, it takes a day to drive across the damn place, you know, sometimes. Right. And so it's like there's bands everywhere, and so. I think the approach was like, let's find these bands that we're friends with that we know kick ass. Let's get them out there. Let's get them in front of more people. And that's kind of been the approach. And fortunately for us, we've toured enough that we know bands kind of all over the place.
Right.
So we've been able to do episodes on the road, which has been amazing. You know, we did one with Bevan Luna in her studio. Like, first off, her studio is like in the, like, what was it, like Fort Collins, Colorado. So it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and like the doors and windows are all open and it's like perfect weather. You're like, I want to live here for
God,
A different blue sky. You know,
Yeah,
the whole
like,
thing.
well, this is what real air tastes like.
right? Johnny Lawhorn
In his living room of his house. You know,
You can actually, if you listen close, you can hear the water from like the cat bowl they have that keeps running. And it's like, yeah, that's all there. Birds tweeting outside.
yeah.
But
But
we've
no
just
ma-
gotten really lucky with people wanting to talk to us about it because Sam's basic idea was let's talk to bands about what got them into music. Like, what was the thing that got you playing or singing or writing or whatever it is that you do, and what keeps you doing it, even though it doesn't pay, and we're all, you know, duking it out in the minor leagues for that, you know, that 3-show or that 3-set bill, you know.
It really comes to the people who are just like, I'm in it for the love of the game, man. Like, I really just love doing this. And also for me, I mean, again, I grew up at the beach, like this song, man. I grew up in Crystal Beach. You know, I know everyone's like, oh, Hayes Carll was from there, dude. Hayes played my friend Adam's dad's bar. Hayes was playing like bad covers. He was not the Hayes Carll you know now. Like, he was the dude that we would be like, wish this dude would shut up while I could play pool. And Hayes would agree. It's not being rude to Hayes. It's like he knows what he was doing. He's like, dude, I can just, and that's what made him become the songwriter he was. So no talking mess on Hayes Carll. He went over to the old quarter, started doing his real songs.
Right.
And dude, we've, like I said, man, I got nothing but love for that dude. But at the time, it was like, there wasn't anything at the beach. We drove to Houston.
Right.
You know, I drove the hour and a half to see Tom Petty at the Woodlands. I drove the hour and a half to go see 30-Foot Fall at the Fitzgeralds. You know, I drove to see Propaganda at the Allen Parkway Village. You know, I mean, I went to all these shows, you know, Instant Karma, all this. And I mean, Houston was always this magical place growing up. It was like all these records I buy. The reason I know I'm not as messed up as I think I am is because I got these records. And they came, I bought them in Beaumont, Texas City or whatever. And then it was like, dude, I can go to Houston. I can drive this hour and a half. And this place has that. Like everything, all these people that I connected with through this music, I can see them and I can talk to them. And, you know, if you go to the Fitzgerald show, like, yeah, I'm talking to Ian MacKay for Fugazi. I'm talking to, you know, the people from Propaganda, man. Like, you know, John K. Sampson and all that stuff. Like, I'm actually going to talk to these people. I'm talking to Thomas from Inquisition, you know, Strike Anywhere now. And
That
it
had
was
to be a really big deal for a kid who graduated in a class of like, what?
16 people, yeah. So it was like, you know, and I'm playing, there's like 3 kids who play music. And it's like, you know, we got to do all this stuff and this got to happen. And then I moved here and it was just kind of like I said, now you see people skip us on tours and things like that. It's like,
It's a tough
I know
one
it's
to
a
play.
bummer, but at the same time, it's like, just stop for a minute. It's not a bummer. It's a good thing. It's like, you don't have to deal with all this outside noise. there's amazing bands here.
Right here.
You know, I mean, just
Almost
in this
every single
room.
night, there's an amazing band playing
Right.
somewhere.
I mean, you got the Grizzly Band here from Health. You've got us. We did Brightwire, that band, Wayward Sons. You got Jess here, Days and Days, Doom Scroll. That's your daughter, right?
Yeah.
That's a drummer. Yeah. And I just saw the name and I just assumed. And I'm like, you know, man, I mean, just in this room, there are like 4 killer Houston bands. And again, that's egotistical to throw us into that. 3 killer bands and us.
For
Y'all are
And-
they're just started out so humble.
Right,
with
but it's
the-
like,
you know,
you
come
know,
on, you guys kill.
This last week, we got to play with, you know, Shame
Shame
on
on
Me,
Me.
which is amazing. They're in Dallas tonight with Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. And they're just a band like, seriously, like I saw their Long River Sessions thing and they were amazing. And then they were showing Kim the video. So there's no way I'm going to sing on the same night these 2 girls sing.
Singing in the same
And I mean,
Nope.
just, I mean, I went home after that show. Dude, I don't think I slept good for 2 or 3 nights. I was just like, oh my God, like that was amazing. And you know, man, Pat Kelly's like in 35 bands that are killer. And
4 doors down.
I keep waiting, like I said, man, he should be your Paul Schaefer. You need to take him and just set him over there. I thought he'd be here tonight to play with us.
Maybe that is the case. Maybe we just put like a little small drum kit over here, and he just kind of plays.
Right, he's basically got his head shaved, so he's good to go, man. He's basically Houston Paul Schaefer.
It's just the love, you know, like this is, I mean, the passion, you know, y'all are hearing it. This is what this is about. Our podcast, their podcast, what they're doing out there, what every band is doing in this town right now. It's, you know, we love this, you know, and this is to be able to talk about it is a privilege. You know, we appreciate so much that you guys took the time to come out and hang out tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate it too, because like I say, you got to believe in it, man. Like I said, Grifters and Shills, Junebird, all these other great bands. Like there's so many killer bands from, and it's weird because we just booked a tour in the Northeast. It's like, oh, I'm driving 30 minutes. I'm in this state. We're doing like 5 states in basically the radius it would take to drive around Houston.
Yeah.
It's like, man, we can do this. And it's like, there's really so much amazing stuff happening here. And I loved every moment of being a child here and being at Fitzgerald for 30-Foot Fall. Like I said, Latching Kids, Bickley, Dynamite Boy, Rubber, Westbury Squares, like The Hates, all these bands. Loved every moment of it. And I took it for granted because I thought, it's just what it is. Like, you know, all these bands, everyone everywhere loves what happens here. It's like, no, man, this happened here. Like, a lot of these bands just happened here. And it's like, man, we really were lucky to be a part of these bands, you know.
Well, the thing is, it's still happening.
Oh, yeah.
That's just it. Like we're talking like a certain time frame. You know, we're growing up and all this, that it was happening. I was just saying, I was driving from Humble, you know, coming downtown, hitting all these little punk shows and everything else, but it's still happening. And it seems to be happening even more now, which is good.
Yeah, because it was when, you know, not to prop us up, when Joey did the article about upcoming records, like, I forget sometimes the Sufferers seem so far up there that it's like, dude, they're a local band, you know?
Right.
There's all these killer bands like Doomstress, like one of the best doom metal bands in the U.S. It's right down the road, like in Spring, you know, and then their guitarist is in Hazarat, which is like a great death metal band. And there's like,
Every
no
genre
matter
you
what
could think
genre
of.
you want, it's
Yeah.
there. I mean,
You're gonna find it.
my
Yeah.
brother used to hang out with the dudes from the Coffee Brothers, like Devin the Dude and all those guys. Like, my brother was good friends with all them. And it was like, dude, there's this killer rap scene here. You know what I mean? It's just everything cool happens within. We're the size of like New England in one state or one town. And it's like, dude, it's all of it's here.
Not to
You
mention
want
the
it,
food.
it's here.
Jeez. I mean, no, Houston's such a badass spot, and I don't know. Well, you've seen how many people's moved here over the last
Yeah.
decade,
My
but
friend Trish Cramblett went up to Seattle, and that's what she said she missed the most about being in Seattle was, like, I was happy back in Houston because the food's so much better in Houston.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, dude, if you want sushi, Seattle's the place to go.
Right.
You want some of this stuff like salmon, Seattle, but if you want like food from around, music and food from around the world, Houston's the place.
well, it might not. I mean, yeah, you might go to these places for that specific food, but you're gonna find really good sushi in Houston. You're gonna find really good,
Everything.
you know, whatever food you're looking for. You're gonna find it somewhere that's gonna be really, really good. Now, is it the best? maybe not the best, but it's very close.
Yeah.
I mean, my neighborhood, we've got people from Trinidad. So you got, good Caribbean food. This is just about the block. Good Mexican food, good whatever, like white people food we do, and all this stuff. And I mean, it's just no matter what neighborhood you're in Houston, like all these people live there. It's a great, diverse city.
And we have Frank's Pizza.
I was gonna say, clearly this man needs a slice of Frank.
He's talking about
he brought
food.
food in from nowhere.
All the conversation. So let's so on that note, let's go ahead and wrap up this show. Because I've been staring at those 2 boxes of pizza now for an hour.
He's got to get a slice.
Or a pizza.
But look for the 4th segment that's going to be coming up.
And if
later.
Listening, Brightwire. How do folks find y'all?
We're on the internet, brightwiremusic.com. If you're on any of your streaming networks, look up Brightwire. We appreciate the follows because really bookers pay attention to that.
Because
Whatever.
it's what they can see.
Because it's like, oh, you have a 200 streams or whatever, realistically. Like, again, having Joel play drums with us, like, I booked this band that had like 1 million streams and no one showed up. But, but people still look at that. So support us.
Give us a follow.
And go see them
John
live.
Stewart.
Go watch a live show.
That would be cool.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we play around Houston all the time.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this week's show. It's been a whole lot of fun, and really looking forward to this 4th segment. What's going to happen there?
What are we gonna learn?
But want to thank No Label Brewery for the beer, Frank's Pizza, and of course our sponsor, Push and Win. If you need any assistance for any legal situation, Push and Win. On behalf of DJ Muskratch, Jason Esparza, Justin Dejas, and myself, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to everybody next week.